Wouldn't it be better to have Obama in? Because we know he's evil. Everybody's already woken up. He's a piece of garbage. Most people, they know he's a puppet. They know he's a liar. Instead of a new puppet. I mean, worse is better sometimes. And I'm not going to support Obama. I cannot support Mitt Romney. Because just because he says he supports the Bill of Rights and Constitution, just because he says that he is now reversing himself from all of his voting record as governor and all of his, I mean, I've got videos of him saying, I support abortion because my mother did and I'll always support it. And then now he says he's against it. I mean, he was for abortion in Massachusetts. He was for open borders. He was for carbon taxes. He wrote the model of the health care we're now under. Of course, big insurance company scam to make 35 million people buy insurance, and now insurance companies can control the care you get. That's a death panel. And let me tell you, Mitt Romney gets in. That's why the globalists more and more are going for Romney. I see Politico coming out against Obama. I see the Washington Post kind of bad-mouthing Obama. They're turning against Obama right now because they go, oh, my gosh, he was going to be our man, but it didn't work. Put Romney in. That'll make the libertarians and conservatives go to sleep, especially if Ron and Rand Paul get behind him. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron and Rand Paul, you may have some strategy that you think is going to get you in there and that you understood you couldn't use the delegates. It would look like you were stealing the election, so you're going to try to get a speaking slot in a cabinet position or something, or Rand on the ticket. Let's say you do that. Let's say they let you have some rhetoric about constitutional ideas. You'll just be used as a shield to co-op. They know you were the front runners. They know you came from nowhere in Kentucky. They know Ron Paul was really winning. They know that. There isn't any support for Romney that I see out there. Okay? By conservatives, libertarians, constitutionalists, real conservatives. Okay? There isn't the support. So they need Ron Paul. They need Ron Paul. You don't need them. And again, all the staff are in there because they want the big Republican jobs. They want to secure their dynasties, the people working for Ron Paul and the rest of them. And they're saying, hey, Papa Paul, don't go, retire at your farm in South Texas. Get us into the Republican Party. And you're going to regret those 30 pieces of silver if that ends up what's happening. I understand the arguments. I understand the reasons. My gut tells me this is a bad idea and that this is not going to end well. I asked Aaron Dykes during the break, who's beside himself right now. Yeah, it's like somebody dropped a bomb on the office. I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? They're all like, yes, you're right as usual. I'm not smart, folks. I'm just not gullible. I've got street smarts. And he said, Ron Paul has blown his foot off, and now if he goes ahead with this, he's going to politically shoot himself in the head. And I said, I absolutely agree with you. Even if Ron Paul's right that you go in, you influence Romney, that's only going to be on the surface because the big banks that have paid for Mitt Romney and the media that attacked and demonized Ron Paul and all the rest of them, they're going to turn on you later anyways. And you're not going to have your supporters anymore. Campaign for Liberty, we have sat here and watched this happen. And I watched Adam Kokesh start going after Paul a few weeks ago, and I said, he's probably right, but I'm going to hold back. And to be clear, I still am not giving my judgment on this. I'm letting the entire Paul system know that you better come out in a press conference and you better address your supporters, because the way they let the supporters think that they were really going to contest the delegates when I knew they weren't. And I was like, okay, I guess maybe Paul's going to do something I don't know of, but you've heard me on air. I've said some of this, but tried to hold back. National media came to me and said, we've noticed you've been saying little things. What do you want? I'm like, you just want to drive a wedge. No, Ron Paul and Rand Paul are great. And then there's almost no communication because they know the minute they really concede, they have to concede to Romney to get the momentum behind him, to get Romney behind him. They're being told, okay, you want Rand on the ticket or you want this or that. You've got to concede. So they concede in the media on Hannity a month ago, but then say, oh no, that really wasn't conceding. Then no. We're gonna spend money in those states. I'm like, yeah, but this looks like it. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll have faith in people I've had faith in for 17 years. I'll I'll do that. But Danger Will Robinson, behind the scenes, I was just like, man, I got a responsibility. And I do have a responsibility. If you guys go south on us, I'm coming after you politically. You better know that. So people are saying we ought to have Ron Paul and Rand Paul influence Romney. That's like having Obama supporters try to influence him. Ain't gonna happen. Okay? They're up there in that beltway, ladies and gentlemen. And again, some will say, well, hey, why even go after him? Let him kind of merge with Romney. And, you know, the argument there is, hey, they're going to be pro-gun, anti-Federal Reserve, and anti-war on many levels. And so why not just go along with it? All I'm saying is the supporters are not buying this. I got to say, the email, the comments we're seeing, 85% are hopping mad, and let me tell you, they're not going to go away. I mean, it's one thing, you know, with Romney or Obama when they betray sheep, but you betray constitutionalists. If you betray them, or if it's perceived, and this is exactly what the globalists want. It's why I haven't taken the bait when national media has called me or come out to events I'm at and said, I want to do a big feature story on you about the Pauls. Are they betraying? I'm like, no, they're not betraying any. And they throw out all the betrayals, you know, or what looks like betrayals. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't see that yet. I'm going to keep my mind open. And so I've sat there just watching this unfold. And again, I'm not going to tell you how the cow ate the cabbage here, but here it is. Ron Paul supporters decry Rand's endorsement of Romney. Majority accused Kentucky senator of selling out to Republican establishment. Man, this really hurts bad. And this is Bob Chapman was always with us on Fridays. He died Monday. What a, you know, you have the great news of Bilderberg being blown wide open and all this happening. You know, the good news is Liberty marches on. And here's the good news. All of Ron Paul's work has been so effective and good against the globalists. It's been beautiful. It's been wonderful. And I guess this is just success. I mean, he was really going to be the real nominee. They stole it. Now they want him. And why shouldn't he go and try to have some influence? See, I get it. I get it. I get it. But my gut, that's never wrong, tells me they've fallen into a trap. That's what I want to say. That's what I'm trying to get out here. There's so much spin on this by the media and others that I'm trying to hit it with my system to unspin it. Rand Paul endorses Romney. We have the video clip in case you don't think this really happened. Here's the Austin Chronicle. Ron Paul supporters. Ron Paul concedes defeat. Asks supporters to be respectful in Tampa. I mean, I've seen countless videos of Ron Paul supporters getting arrested and getting beat up when they are the majority delegates and the Republicans change the rules in front of them. The rules they passed in 2010, they say, well, now those are in 2014, the next congressional election. And they beat them up and drag them out. And then Ron Paul says, be respectful. Direct talking points out of Romney and the RNC. That's like a punch in the stomach, man. That hurts. But I'm going to be controlled about this, and I'm going to analyze it. And then if it is the case, I am going to absolutely get the American people motivated. I'm just going to leave it at that. And again, I read that. We're going to go to break and come back. The toll-free number to join us, 800-259-9231. I'm going to go ahead right now and play you part of Fox News, Sean Hannity, New World Order Central, the folks that told you the New World Order doesn't exist, and you know all the rest of it, the people that demonize Ron Paul 24/7 and cheat him on the polls and everything. This reminds me of Robert the Bruce. This really happened in history, who had all the clans united to defeat the British, and then he sold everybody out and sold William Wallace out. And I guess he realized it later and came back and actually defeated the British. But, I mean, this is exactly like Braveheart. I was having flashbacks this morning to that. You maintain your title, expanded your lands, you've done well, you survived. You don't survive tyranny. Things are too dark. They're launching drones, re-education camps. We got to get hardcore, not work with the system anymore. Let's go ahead and go to the tape. Here it is.
Well, you know, my first choice had always been my father. I campaigned for him when I was 11 years old. He's still my first pick. But, you know, now that the nominating process is over, tonight I'm happy to announce that I'm going to be supporting Governor Romney.
Yeah. How do you, look, if you didn't support your father, by the way, I mean, I would really question family loyalty there. And I think it was totally understandable. And I know, you know what, you love and you respect your dad, and I agree with your dad on many issues. I have no idea why he's still mad at me, and he would reject coming on this program, but that's a whole different story for another day. Tell me why you're supporting Governor Romney.
Well, you know, I think it's interesting that Governor Romney and I actually have quite a few similarities. You know, Governor Romney's dad ran for president, was unsuccessful. Governor Romney then went on to support the nominee the same way his dad did.
I can't listen anymore. Turn it off. Okay, you know, I guess the Rand Paul insiders, people just think they don't. For a long time, you've heard me talk about building your own food. Look at the votes on YouTube, and I've seen other polls showing the same number. 952 votes against what Rand Paul said, 69 supporting what he said. So that's more than 90% right there. What does that come out to? 69 divided into 952. What is that? More than 95% don't like it. So I think this is a major miscalculation. But what did you expect? They kept everybody going, telling them they were going to win with delegates, while Rand came on this show a couple months ago and said, well, yes, you know, now that we're moving forward, implying Romney was the guy. And why is it Rand making this announcement on Hannity? Again, maybe they've got some plan I don't know about. Their voting records are great, so I still support them. I still like Rand Paul. But I'm telling you, this is not going to go over well with the supporters, who a lot of them would look at me and say, he's going to be president even over the weekend. And I said, no, he's not. He's only got 20% of the delegates, and that would be suicide to try to contest it. I said, you watch, he isn't. They'd say that on tape. And I'd say, no, I'm not. I'm going to let you experience this for yourself. And because I just understand basic politics. Now, again, I understand the Paul position. Hey, might as well try to influence Romney. Might as well. That's what they're being told. You know, hey, you know, Romney will listen to you. Get behind Romney. Because there's no Romney road signs. There's no Romney bumper stickers. If you've seen one, tell me about it. All I saw driving across this country was Ron Paul signs. This is the tail wagging the dog. This is a little Republican tail that had to cheat, that treated Ron Paul supporters like trash. And let me tell you, this morning I was going to come out and say, well, let's just wait and see, till I saw the Paul quote in the Houston Chronicle. And I saw it in their email they put out. Didn't just believe them, saying, be respectful in Tampa. What? I mean, so, you know, be respectful. Does that translate to sit down and shut up? Again, my point is, I'm now in a stance of I'm watching. I'm watching. I'm watching. I'm not going to just sit here and go, oh, well, you know, 17 years of me trusting somebody. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Now, I know we got loaded phones here. We'll have nothing but open phones the next hour. Then Lord Monckton's coming on. I got a bunch of other news I haven't even gotten to yet. I'm going to try to get to more of that. But Justin in Missouri, what's your take on all this? Should I just get behind Romney and maybe George Bush too?